Hello and welcome to the Commander's Quarters, your Magic the Gathering source that helps you command your budget. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all their support. Hey everyone, Mitch coming in from the Commander's Quarters studio. Welcome to the show. For an early morning edition, at least, I don't know what time you're watching this episode, but currently it's just past about 5 o'clock. This is probably the earliest I've ever actually recorded an episode. Basically, I woke up and I decided to check my phone, which I shouldn't have done. I should have just rolled over and tried to go back to sleep. And then I saw the newest spoiler, and it is Hullbreacher, and then I couldn't not get back to sleep. So let's talk about Hullbreacher. Yeah. So, Hullbreacher is a 3/2 merfolk pirate with flash. It costs 2 and a blue. Says if an opponent would draw a card except the first one they draw on each of their draw steps, instead you create a treasure token. Oh gosh. Okay, so first off, let's just get, this over with first. This is probably going to be a cycle now, because, opposition agent's a thing. The templating is essentially the exact same, right? A 3-mana, 3/2 with flash that essentially stops your opponent from doing one thing and you get some benefit instead. I already had an episode about Opposition Agent. If you want to go check that out, go ahead. Basically talking about just how powerful it can be. Hullbreacher, I'm not sure if it's more powerful, but it is definitely way overpowered. Yeah, I mean, I have I'm not a legacy player or a vintage player or whatnot. I bet this would see play there. Like, this is a very powerful effect. Essentially saying, instead of you drawing a card, I get to make treasures. And again, this has flash, so, if someone casts, say, a brainstorm or whatnot, guess what? Instead of drawing 3 cards, I get to create 3 treasures. And yeah, you're putting 2 cards from your hand on top of your library. So that's a huge swing. Again, that's just a small example. Other examples are, someone casts, an X draw spell, and you just steal it all from them, and you're basically just kind of, you're not stealing the draw. You're not stealing the draw, you're stealing, the mana they're using, essentially. It's kind of like a mana drain, kind of. But actually, again, kind of also worse, kind of, not worse, but, I mean, more powerful, more deadly, because you can just keep doing kind of these effects throughout the game. This basically kind of reminds me of Notion Thief, but in a different way. Notion Thief kind of with a Narset flavor and Smothering Tithe included. Just all kind of jumbled into one card that only costs, 3 mana and it's got flash. Notion Thief is a 3/1 with flash. It says if an opponent would draw a card except for the first one they draw on each of their draw steps, instead that player skips that draw and you draw that card. So basically, this and Hullbreacher are kind of the exact same card, except, it doesn't... You are not... Instead of you getting the draw, you get treasures instead, so that just replaces that. Hullbreacher obviously costs 1 less. It can fit into more decks because it's blue. Yeah, and creating treasures. I mean, there's probably debate on what's more powerful, creating treasures or drawing cards. I'd venture to say that the treasures is probably more powerful because, you can wheel and then, cast another wheel and then cast another wheel. We'll get to the wheels here in a second, though. Narset says each opponent can't draw more than 1 card each turn. So yeah, this one's just, hey, yeah, I'm going to start wheeling and you're not going to have any cards in your hand. And then Smothering Tithe says whenever an opponent draws a card, that player may pay 2. If that player doesn't, you create a treasure token. So yeah, this one, I mean, obviously the Hullbreacher doesn't draw you a card on their first draw each turn, but everyone after that, you are drawing instead of them drawing, and they're not paying 2 for that effect. So obviously people aren't going to, play into your Hullbreacher, when the Hullbreacher's in play, they're not going to, cast a draw spell because they're just going to, basically just give you mana and they're going to lose that draw. But yeah, this is a very powerful combination of sorts. And again, kind of like Narset, cards that I can see, built around this card to be very impactful are going to be wheel effects, like Windfall, Jace's Archivist, and Commit to Memory. And again, I'm only going to be mentioning, obviously there's wheel effects in other colors. I'm only going to be mentioning blue ones, depending on what deck you put your Hullbreacher in, you're going to have access to other wheels, red wheels and whatnot. So yeah, Windfall says each player discards their hand, then draws cards equal to the greatest number of cards a player discard this way. So yeah, let's say one player has 7 cards. You cast this for 3 mana. Everyone discards their hand. And then, yeah, you are drawing, your 7. And then everyone else is drawing nothing. So you just made them discard their entire hand. And then you get 21 treasures. So, yep, that's how this works with Hullbreacher. You basically just say, okay, everyone else discard your hand. I draw 7, and I get 21 treasures. And that's for 3 mana. I mean, 3 mana with the Hullbreacher, 3 mana with Windfall, 6 mana in total. Definitely worth it. Jace's Archivist. Pay a blue and tap it. Each player discards their hand, then draws cards equal to the greatest number of cards player discards this way. It's basically a Windfall on a body. So yeah, for a blue mana, that's well worth it to kind of do this every single turn that you can. Commit to Memory, just a very versatile spell. Basically, again, each player shuffles their hand into their graveyard, or set end graveyard into their library, then draw 7 cards. So yeah, basically another kind of wheel effect where you're basically just saying, hey, yeah, I'm getting a ton of treasures out of this. You're not drawing any cards, and your hand and your graveyard are also gone now, too. So, yeah, just one wheel can essentially set you up to win the game as soon as Hullbreacher's in play. That's all it takes. Other cards that get better with Hullbreacher are going to be, those kind of, group hug kind of, everyone draws kind of cards. A Howling Mine, at the beginning of each player's draw step, if Howling Mine is untapped, the player draws additional card. Dictative Crew Fix is basically the same thing. It's got Flash. At the beginning of each player's draw step, the player draws an additional card. Doesn't matter whether you tapping or untapping. And like a Prosperity, each player draws X cards. So again, this is basically kind of just like, hey, Prosperity, each player draws X cards. You put, let's say, again, 7 mana into that X. You're drawing 7. You're making 21 treasures. Yeah, that's a powerful thing. Definitely worth the mana. Again, this card is one that can come out of nowhere and surprise someone because of that Flash. So again, this can kind of, they've got their X draw spell. Probably not Prosperity. Most players don't play that card because making other players draw cards usually isn't a good thing. But yeah, when they cast, their Blue Sun Zenith or whatnot, then yeah, you can just steal, not stealing the draw, you're preventing them from drawing, and then you're also just getting a ton of treasure. I mean, I think this card would have been powerful without the instead. Like, if you read this real quick, if an opponent would draw a card except the first one they draw on each of their turns, or their draw steps, instead, you create a treasure token. It says instead. If it didn't even say instead, it just said you create a treasure token, that'd still be a very powerful and extremely playable card. The instead just makes it kind of over the top, like, yeah, this is definitely going to be, probably considered by many to be a blue staple, a card that, you're really going to have to look out for, if this starts seeing a ton of play. Because, yeah, that's an extremely powerful effect. That instead is just, yeah, I mean, all of you Kami of the Crescent Moon players out there are probably going to be pretty happy with this, unless, you have a true group hug, friendly kind of deck. At the beginning of each player's draw step, player draws additional cards. So yeah, you're just basically saying, okay, no one else gets that, I get that, and then yeah, I get an extra treasure each turn on each of your turns. So basically, yeah, 3 treasures around the table, and I get an extra card during my turn. Kami is quite pleased. Again, I think I mentioned this earlier though with Opposition Agent though. The thing that did not allow me to go back to sleep this morning was that yeah, this is in my opinion definitely going to be a cycle now. So you've got Opposition Agent Black, Hullbreacher, and Blue. What are the ones going to be for white, green, and red? It's not a guarantee. I'm not guaranteeing that this is a cycle, but the pattern is already set. I mean, these again, both are 3/2s, both have Flash, both cost the same, both basically have a replacement effect essentially. So, yeah, this is be on the lookout for some more probably overpowered 3 mana monocolored creatures with Flash. So, yeah, though that's just my opinion though. So I'd love to hear from you. Let me know what your thoughts on Hullbreacher are. Is this a blue staple? Is this, did they need that instead on the card? Yeah, are you going to be running Hullbreacher? So yeah, let me know in the comments below. And as always, thanks again and have a good one.